C'est quoi cette merde?
Ça a commencé.
Qu'est-ce qu'il a trouvé ici?
On n'est pas seul.
Saloum. I missed this when it first premiered late last year, but I finally got around to checking it out on Shudder this week, and I'm actually really glad I did. Saloum has been getting really good reviews, with it being called one of the best horror films from 2022. And while I don't fully agree with that particular sentiment, I do think it is very enjoyable and is rather, high up there. I only really have one major issue with the film. Everything else is a lot of fun and particularly cool and interesting to see. Let me explain. Saloum is a Senegalese film following a group of 3 mercenaries called the Bangui Hyenas, who after stealing gold from a drug cartel and trafficking the drug leader, decide to lie low in a small village in the Saloum kingdom before traveling to Dakar. They are unfortunately joined by a cop on their trail and a mute and deaf runaway that knows their secret. Things escalate as the leader of the hyenas named Chaka has secrets from his past that are slowly creeping up on him. I love how important the native culture is to this film. Those who know me know how important it is to me with these foreign films to fully dive into the culture of the area, and this features some amazing Senegalese mysticism and folklore, at least from what I can tell. I'll admit that I'm not very well read on this exact branch of folklore, but there's some really cool ideas here regardless. While the effects admittedly aren't great, I don't think this had a very big budget anyway, the acting is. Jan Gael, I apologize again if I pronounce any of these upcoming names incorrectly. Jan Gael is the standout star as Chaka. He is rather aloof at first, but really comes into the character in the latter half. And he's great, really enjoyable to watch. He's intimidating when he needs to be, vulnerable at other points, friendly in others, and he always seems to be in control for the most part. Roger Sala as Rafa is also great in his role as the tough guy. He's sarcastic yet quick to anger, that stereotype, But then in the later half, his character is expanded a bit more, and he's able to show a lot more range and emotion than what he was able to do previously. The third mercenary, named Papa Minui, played by Mentor Ba, doesn't really get a whole lot to do, unfortunately, besides being the basic mystic wise guy. He remains stoic the entire film, but does at least have a strong connection between the other two. They make a great group. The story is pretty good too, with quick pacing and some surprising twists that I wasn't expecting. There is my main issue though. I think a lot of it is because the film is so short. At just under 90 minutes, it has a lot of lore that it just breezes over, and the first main twist, situated about halfway through the film, feels like it comes out of nowhere. It's a fantastic twist that details a lot of Chaka's backstory, but it isn't set up properly, so it comes with no build-up. The later twist does have the proper build-up, so I think it's more of an issue with deleted scenes for time, which is a real shame, but it says something that's my only real major issue. There are other issues like some characters being arbitrary to the plot, but those ultimately are nitpicks. Otherwise, the cinematography is also very interesting. Nothing wholly unique, but there are quite a few cool shots with like some flashbacks and later things which are replacing Chaka with a younger version of himself in real time, which does look pretty cool. I'll admit that. I really liked that. The director, Jean-Luc Herbelot, has been in the game for a while now, and it's very obvious with a few of his previous films. I might have to check them out, but I think this is his first foray into a full-length horror film. He did a thriller movie called Dealer in 2014 and has a 2019 TV show that also stars Jan Gael and Roger Sala called Sako and Mangane on Netflix. I might actually check that out. I don't think he's dealt with many supernatural aspects before, but they are really interesting in this film. Without going into spoilers, there's a really cool rule about what the spirits do and how they can only affect you if you hear them. I really like that. I want to see what else this guy can do with more supernatural stories. Ultimately, I think Saloum is a flawed film, but very enjoyable with what they have going. If I were to improve it, I really just would make it a bit longer to properly set up that first twist. Maybe I'd set up the supporting cast a bit more because they end up just kind of being there, which is weird when they're suddenly entangled in everything going on with no other real connection. It's weird, but it's not terrible, and I'm pretty sure that that's just an issue with either timing or budget. I feel like this movie really wanted to go over budget and it just did not have the resources, which is a shame because there's a lot going on here and it has some great messages. Everything else, it's a very fixable movie. I think I would keep a lot of it as it is, especially given how steeped into the culture this is and how important the history of the Saloum Delta is. It's a West African delta just south of Senegal, if you didn't know. It was its own kingdom. It has a deep history and even a couple of its own languages as well, which is very interesting. This is a French language film, but it also features some of the native language of Wolof, which I had honestly never heard of before until watching this movie. So I really like that. I think there's a lot of interesting things to go into and explore here, and I feel like there's plenty more they could do if they wanted to explore this particular area a bit more. It doesn't really leave off to the point where it teases a sequel or anything, and I don't think it needs a sequel. This is a very self-contained film that is a lot of fun. First half is very kind of heist movie, ooh, we gotta keep our cover, and then the second half is where it dives fully into the supernatural. I like that tonal shift. A lot of things cannot handle tonal shifts like that properly, but I think this one does. Again, just wish that twist into it was a bit more defined. You get hints to it, but nothing fully, and it just comes out of nowhere. It happened and I'm like, oh, what the heck is going on here? But other than that, I really enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun and it reminded me a lot of, say, the film His House, despite being a very different movie. I definitely recommend it. If you're interested, it is streaming on Shudder, YouTube, and Amazon Prime right now. Saloum gets an 8.5 out of 10 from me. Hey guys, thanks for sticking around for another one. It's been a while since I watched another foreign language film that has been this steeped into the culture. Everything else that I've seen has been pretty much Indonesian, which I'm not complaining. I love Indonesian, but it's always great to have an African mythology look. Even though this is very much West Africa and more French African, it isn't something you'd see in like main Africa with those kind of mythologies, but it's still its own thing, and it made me interesting to go back into it and be like, oh, they're throwing out a lot of references to various cultures and to various histories and things going on. This is a very well-worn area. Even though it's very remote, people still seem to recognize it. There are towns on the other side. They talk about poachers. I really like it. Just diving into the history and the culture of the area is very cool to me. They did that in a Thai film I saw a while ago called Inhuman Kiss that also focused on Thai mythos and stories of the area and how people lived in that area. The other one I did was The Long Walk, which also featured heavy culture and mysticism of the area in that particular culture that it was filmed in. I just like these. These are fun. It's cool to see how the culture of another world affects our own, how they can interpret supernatural events, how they interpret their own version of ghosts or spirits or vengeful entities. Entity de quoi. It's good. I think it's enjoyable, and I think a lot more people should watch it. It's very tightly paced. It's good. Let me know, what do you guys think about in the comments below? This was getting a whole lot of press when it released last year, saying it's one of the better horror films of 2022. Maybe not the best, but definitely up there. I agree. I don't know. Let me know. Let me know in the comments below. What do you guys think? After that, don't forget to like the video. Really helps me out. Don't forget to subscribe. Ring that bell so you don't miss a video. And that's it. Have a great day, and if you're not, have a better one. See ya.
I'm just a ghost in your stereo. The fading memory of a shipwreck in the undertow. You're just a lost soul. And I'm just a ghost in your stereo.